It's nearly 2 months since the federal government lifted its ban of live exports to Indonesia, but the cattle industry is still struggling to get back on its feet. While cattle shipments have resumed from WA ports, the Kimberley still has a long way to go. A government-commissioned report has even found that the ban reduced the value of northern pastoral stations. For the latest, here's Jake Sturmer in Broome.
Broome. World renowned for its picture-perfect vistas, beaches, and it's a magnet for tourists.
All feeders.
But down the road, things are far from pretty. Welcome to Kilto Station, 60 kilometres from Broome, and a long way from the decision makers in Canberra. To say the last 2 months have been tough out here is an understatement.
Shiver, shiver.
Right now, the stockmen out here should be counting thousands of cattle for export. Instead, they're sorting, counting the cost from the government's live export ban. This time of the year, the station's owner Jack Burton is usually showing off his animals to stock agents. Instead, he's giving us a tour of the desolate yards.
Yeah, what happened?
What happened indeed? While his dog may not have the answer, few do.
I think that's one of our big issues, is the unknown, is what we don't know, what we don't understand. It's still a big part of the problem.
A year ago, this export yard was full of cattle destined for Indonesia. Now, it's virtually empty. Despite the federal government lifting its month-long ban, things are far from normal. While boats to Indonesia are starting to return, the export yards are empty, and one of the main reasons they aren't full is because the stock prices have dropped, in some cases by up to $160 a head, making it unviable for pastoralists.
We're probably down 6,000 to 8,000 sale cattle so far this year, and the cattle are worth $500 to $600, so it's a serious impact.
Pastoralists are left in a state of uncertainty. If the price doesn't rise soon, the thousands of cattle due to be exported this year could exceed the 350 kilogram Indonesian weight limit. Has the damage been done?
Look, the damage has been done. You know, it's certainly we can try and minimise the impact, but we'll never ever get away from the fact that we've had 2 months in the middle of our season just removed from our markets. So yeah, I don't think we're not going to get over it in a hurry. The damage has definitely been done.
730 WA first spoke with Jack Burton just days after the government announced the ban.
That's our sort of export yards there, where everything basically comes here and gets pre-conditioned, ready for export.
But instead of flying choppers and mustering cattle, he's having a cup of tea and a chat to his local stock agent.
Finally got a donkey in a horse race.
But there's always time for a laugh and a pikelet. Looks like they really enjoyed those pikelets today.
I think so.
They wolfed them down, that's for sure.
Well, that recipe makes 75, so it's ideal for somewhere like this. 75 pikelets. There's only a few left.
All the meals and snacks are homemade by the mother figure on the station, Eve Sansom. She's already putting the finishing touches on her next delicacy, a banana cake.
With the bananas at $13.98 a kilo, one of our girls left recently and left 4 bananas in the freezer, so here's the results of 4 frozen bananas.
Right now, nothing is being wasted, and that extends to the meat too.
Another tongue, ooh, it's a good one.
For the younger crew here at Kilto Station, Eve Sansom provides the compassion in an area known for its rough way of life.
You listen to their woes and their excitement when they fall in love or they go into town or whatever they do. I nag them when they're untidy.
Eve's everyone's mum here. She's lovely. She is like a bit of home for everyone, I think. You finish work and you go and you cry to Eve. You can't whinge to the older lads here, but you can definitely have a whinge to Eve and she'll listen.
For 19-year-old Sunshine Coast surfer Steve Imey, working on the station was always going to be different, but he was at least expecting to be spending most of his time with cattle, not cement.
even though it's been a bit of a mess, we've had jobs to do, like concreting and that sort of thing, so it's been lucky, but obviously cattle work's what you want to be doing.
The crew has been doing jobs normally saved for the wet season, like building sheds and repairing machinery. Because they aren't mustering now, while it's cooler, they're going to have to work later into the year.
That should be really interesting. Apparently we got some pretty long days ahead of us, so we've been told that we'll be working through the heat this year.
And the longer it takes to muster, the harder it hurts truckies like Danny Stewart.
We get paid a day rate plus a kilometre rate for the trucks, and definitely not doing the kilometres. I reckon this time of the year I'd probably be down 40 or 50,000 kilometres on what I would have done last year.
For someone with trucking in the blood, it's having more than just a financial impact.
Well, this is my third year up here, and it's first 2 years was flat out. It was really good, and I come up here to drive a truck, and when you're not driving the truck, you're starting to wonder what you are doing here. You know, there's only so much maintenance you can do, and so many times you can wash the truck and try to do all that sort of stuff. And
when he does get a chance to jump in the cab, it's been to truck farm supplies and not stock.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of shippers, carting sheep through to Perth and all that sort of stuff for shipping, and never seen it like this, never.
His road train should be full of cattle stock agent Andrew Stewart is selecting, but there isn't much to choose from.
This is just one of 3 depot yards in the Broome area that we sort of use to secure cattle before shipments. So normally, this time of year would be sort of flat out trying to do that.
One of the other export yards is also almost empty. With the capability to handle 15,000, there was only 600 head of cattle there this week. It's no surprise that stock agents are struggling to fill the boats.
I believe there was 1 or 2 that left late last week that went sort of 500 or 600 head short, which is a disaster for exporters, over and above with all the pain that they've had to date. So,
to ease the pain, there are various compensation packages, including $3 million from the federal government for people out of work and subsidised loans.
It's all this money is to make someone feel better about stuffing things up. But the reality is it's like no amount of money or compensation or handout is going to do the industry any good in the long run. People just want the people that make decisions to think things through before they make rash decisions and destroy people's lives.
While Jack Burton has had to lay off a few staff, his business has been sheltered by having assets outside of the cattle industry, and he's continuing to diversify, albeit a little quicker than he thought.
We've been thinking about an abattoir for quite a few years. It's something that we'd sort of always sort of had in the background as something that would be a great idea. We see there's a huge opportunity with the clean green sort of image of the Kimberley to do an organic and a free-range line of beef.
Eventually, Jack Burton hopes this shed will house the abattoir and provide a way of dealing with excess and overweight stock. Until that happens, he's hoping the stock price increases enough to make a large-scale muster worthwhile.
I think there's going to be some opportunities market-wise soon. I think Indonesia's got empty feedlots. They've got a demand for red meat. They're going to be in a situation they need beef. And so just as long as everyone can keep a level head and get all the ducks in a row, and basically we'll have cattle going out, and we'll just make that last as long as we can.
If you could have your time again, would you still pick this business?
I think that this is what always makes me quite, have a bit of a chuckle when I hear people like Andrew Wilkie and individuals, implying that we're all in this because it's all about profit. He wants to really wake up and realise that if farmers were in it for profit, there wouldn't be farmers.
Jake Sturmer with that report.